What's up, everyone, and welcome to the real breakdown. Studio's not fully done, but I figured I'd give you guys a sneak peek, right? Posters are starting to go up, so trying to figure out all the lighting and everything. But we are here to give you the real breakdown on Ant-Man. It's a non-spoiler review, so let's get right to it. So I just watched Ant-Man and the Wasp, and I have to tell you guys, the first Ant-Man movie, I didn't really know what to expect because there was a lot of drama going on with, the making of the film and all that, and it actually really surprised me, and I really enjoyed it. It was, a really good heist movie and a really good comedy. And as for this one, I have to say that this movie, I thought it was very, very good. It has a similar but different vibe. That's kind of weird to say, right? So coming out of the theater for this movie, I walked out, actually, surprisingly, really wanting to see Avengers Infinity War again, which is kind of weird to say, but I thought this movie was good. I did not think it was amazing. I didn't think it was the best Marvel movie I've seen so far. Obviously, we've seen a lot of them. This is the 20th film in the MCU. That's crazy. We got to give them props for that. But I definitely thought that this movie was a solid movie. It was funny as heck, dude. Like, seriously, it was really, really funny. It was funnier than I thought. I actually think it's funnier than the first one. So this one, to me, is just a straight-up comedy. Walking out of the theater, I was like, wow, that was a good time. That was a good time. It was a fun movie. You walk out wanting a bit more, though, I think, at least for me, just because here's the great thing about it. So you got the Avengers movies and these huge, large-scale films, where the world is ending and all that stuff, and that's great. But what I love is that some of these individual films kind of scale it back. You don't have to be saving the world every single time because then it kind of gets boring. So movies like this, such as, Ant-Man, Guardians, some of these superheroes don't necessarily always have to be saving the world. I mean, they kind of are, but the stories feel smaller. And so that's kind of what Ant-Man and the Wasp is more of a smaller story. It's more of a personal story. I find myself equating this film to Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Because I'm going to tell you right now, guys, there is pretty much no connection to this film with Avengers Infinity War. They don't really talk about it. I mean, they mentioned, what happened after Civil War because Ant-Man was in it. Other than that, it's Ant-Man's story. It's like his own personal story with the characters from that first movie. So just like in Guardians of the Galaxy 2, where it's Peter Quill's story. It's all them. There's no Thanos, none of that. So it's very much an Ant-Man-centered film. Obviously, Ant-Man and the Wasp, which was refreshing, actually. I thought that was cool, but I don't know. I guess I just love the Avengers movie so much that I was like, yo, I want, I walked out of there being like, man, this makes me want to watch Infinity War so bad. The good things that I loved about this film were the comedy, man. This movie, unlike Guardians of the Galaxy 2, which some people didn't like because they thought it was trying way too hard to be funny, this movie actually has the comedic timing down really well. So the moments that are funny are hysterically funny, and then the moments that, necessarily don't have to be as funny are fine. I also liked how they interweaved some, basically they continued from the first one too. So they do kind of explain some things of what happened to Evangeline Lilly, the Wasp, his character. What happened to his little girl? She's grown up and she's actually older now, and it's oh my god, she's grown up, but she's still cute and adorable. So all that kind of stuff they covered. So I thought that was great. I thought Paul Rudd, is great as Ant-Man. I mean, his comedic timing and his portrayal of the character, it was great. And Evangeline Lilly, the actress who plays the Wasp, they finally got rid of her ugly hair, and this one she looks a lot better, but I thought she did a great job. And the story is really good, too. Surprisingly, the story does have a lot of heartfelt moments, and it still has that kind of dynamic of, from the first one, the father-daughter relationship, and in this one, obviously, from the trailers that they're talking about trying to go into the quantum realm to get the Wasp, the original Wasp back, which is Hope's mother. All that kind of stuff was cool. Some of the things that I didn't really like would probably be the fact that, so as much as I like the story of where Ant-Man's character goes, what I didn't really enjoy as much was the lack of a villain, I want to say. There is no main central villain, and that lack of presence of that kind of threw me off a bit, because you have one character that's kind of bad but not really bad, and then there's another character that's kind of bad but not really bad, and then there's another one who is bad but he's not really the main focus of the movie. So I was okay, where is this antagonist that you usually have in a movie. But it didn't completely ruin it, guys. So it didn't completely ruin the movie for me, but I definitely did kind of feel weird about it. Because basically the movie is Ant-Man and Hank and Hope are they have an objective. They're trying to do something, and these other people kind of get in the way. So I guess, that's just not in the story, but I'm just so used to always having some sort of villain. So I guess you could say it's justified, but for me, I kind of wanted to have a main villain. So there was that, but I did also like how so obviously with the quantum realm, there's a lot of like explaining to do, a lot of science, a lot of technology that in order for all this to happen. And the way that they explain it is pretty good, but at the same time, I love how they make fun of the fact that this is all super sciencey. You have to have the Paul Rudds, you have to have the other characters, and they're just kind of saying some quips of like, dude, you really expect us to understand all this, type of stuff. So all that stuff is great. Overall, like I said, I definitely can't say that this is my favorite Marvel movie of all time, and it's definitely not in the top 10 for me, but it's still a good time. I walked out of there and a lot of people were like, wow, that was really good. Wow, that was funnier than the first one, which I agree with. But I definitely am not going to say that this is a Civil War or a Spider-Man Homecoming or something like that, or a Black Panther. Overall, a good, solid film. It's not going to be at the top 10 on my list, but still an interesting story. And obviously, guys, this is Marvel. They have awesome end credit sequences. Stay for those. There is a post-credit scene. There's a mid-credit scene and a post-credit scene. So definitely stay for those. They're pretty important. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to say anything else because they're kind of spoilery. So, guys, make sure you guys go check it out. And let me know what you guys think. If you guys liked it, let me know in the comments, or if you didn't, or if you have other recommendations for me. Like, I'm also watching other films that aren't always in theaters, but like I said, I'm still pretty busy, still trying to finish moving in, so I'll try to get to those as soon as I can. But yeah, guys, that's the real breakdown, non-spoiler review for Ant-Man and the Wasp. Make sure you like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.